They don't want you to know these 4 ATV killers. You take care of your ATV. You change the oil, you wash the mud off, you park it in the garage, you think you're doing everything right, and then one day it doesn't start, or it overheats, or it leaves you stranded 5 miles from the truck. Here's what the manufacturers don't want you to know. There are silent killers lurking in every ATV. Problems that creep up slowly, destroy your machine from the inside, and cost you thousands in repairs. The dealer won't warn you. The owner's manual buries them in fine print. The forums are full of riders who learned the hard way. Today, I'm naming 4 ATV killers that the industry is hiding from you. The fuel system destroyer, the heat that cooks your machine, the storage mistakes that total your engine, and the overlooked maintenance that separates a 5,000-mile machine from a 15,000-mile legend. Let's start with the #1 reason ATVs end up on the scrap heap. Killer 1, stale fuel. Here's a statistic that will make you sick. Most ATV engines die not because of mechanical failure, but because of fuel degradation. The owner parked it for the winter with a half tank of gas. Come spring, the machine won't start. The carbs are gummed up. The injectors are clogged. The fuel pump is seized. Modern ethanol-blended fuel is the enemy of your ATV. Ethanol absorbs moisture from the air. That moisture separates from the gasoline and settles at the bottom of your tank. It corrodes metal components. It turns into a gel that clogs fuel lines, injectors, and carburetor jets. Experts confirm this is one of the most common problems. Old fuel can cause starting problems, especially after long storage periods. The fuel degrades and leaves varnish deposits that block the tiny passages in your carburetor or fuel injection system. And it's not just starting problems, it's full system destruction. Fuel can degrade and cause problems in your off-road vehicle's engine if it sits for extended periods. This will prevent stale fuel from clogging your engine. How do you stop this killer? If you're storing your ATV for more than a month, fill the tank completely. A full tank leaves less room for condensation. Add a fuel stabilizer. The manufacturer's official guides recommend this explicitly. Add Polaris Carbon Clean Fuel Treatment or Polaris Fuel Stabilizer or equivalent fuel treatments or stabilizers. Allow the engine to run for 15 to 20 minutes to allow the stabilizer to disperse through the entire fuel delivery system. If you're really committed, drain the tank and the carburetor completely before storage. That's the nuclear option. It's the only way to guarantee zero fuel degradation. Real-world owners confirm this advice. When a Yamaha YFZ450 owner had a recurring issue with a clogged fuel injector, the expert advice was to check the screen that goes into the bottom of your fuel tank pump, because if it's cut or dislodged or not connected or worn out, it may be pulling in debris from inside of your tank. That debris is the residue of stale fuel. Now pause here. How many of you have had fuel problems after storage? How much did it cost to fix? Comment below. Killer 2, heat soak and overheating. This is the killer that sneaks up on you. You ride hard, you stop for a break, you shut off the engine, everything seems fine, but inside the engine, temperatures are still climbing. The cooling fan is off, coolant isn't circulating, the heat has nowhere to go. This is called heat soak, and it's a silent destroyer. The experts at Dirt Wheels magazine describe it in detail. When you stop and the engine is shut off and the cooling fan stops, the engine continues to get hotter because the fan is off and coolant is no longer flowing through the engine. Above about 220 degrees Fahrenheit, the engine doesn't like to run well. Wait 30 minutes for the heat to dissipate and the engine runs normally again. But the damage is already done. Repeated heat soak cycles cook gaskets, warp cylinder heads, and degrade engine oil. Over time, it leads to head gasket failure, warped valves, and catastrophic engine damage. But heat soak is just the beginning. The real killer is systemic overheating. The Yamaha Grizzly 700 is notorious for this. One expert noted, "I've noticed on the Grizzly 700s that they get hot back at the exhaust because the exhaust is so close to the plastic. It'll melt the panels right off of it." And if you hear coolant boiling after shutoff, that's a warning sign. If you're hearing it boil, that almost leads me to believe that maybe it's a little bit low on coolant, or worse, the coolant is the wrong type entirely. These machines are pretty finicky about what type of coolant you go back with, the expert warned. Real owners confirm this is a widespread issue. One Polaris Sportsman owner detailed repeated overheating during long hill climbs. During these climbs, the temp would rise, and instead of dropping back at the 203-ish mark, would continue to rise until I got the overheat light at 235. I stopped, took 5 to 10 minutes rest, the temp would be back down to 190s, and I ride off and no issues. Until I hit the next long hill, then the same exact thing. Another Polaris owner diagnosed overheating issues on a 2022 XP1000. If I stay below 4,300 RPM, the bike will stay cold, but if I stay on throttle above 4,300 RPM, the bike will begin to overheat with temps going past 215. What's the root cause? Often, it's something as simple as a clogged radiator. The common problem of the radiator needing to be thoroughly cleaned. I cleaned the fins with a foaming cleaner and worked great. How do you stop this killer? Keep your radiator clean. Mud and debris block airflow. Use a foaming cleaner designed for radiators. Monitor your coolant level and condition. Use the manufacturer's recommended coolant type. A cheap universal coolant can actually damage your engine. And here's a pro tip. If you're working your machine hard on a hot day, let it idle for a minute or two before shutting off. That lets the coolant circulate and the fan do its job. It's a simple habit that can save you thousands. Now pause again. Has your ATV ever overheated? What happened? Comment below. Killer 3, poor storage. You park your ATV for the winter. You don't prep it. You don't clean it. You don't treat the fuel. You don't maintain the battery. Come spring, you have a dead battery, a gummed-up fuel system, and rusted components. You've just added years of wear to your machine in a single season. Proper storage is the single most important thing you can do for your ATV's longevity. The manufacturers publish detailed storage guides because they know this, but most riders ignore them. Here's what the manufacturer says about battery maintenance. Whenever your ATV is not used for 3 months or more, remove the battery from the vehicle. Ensure that it's fully charged and store it out of the sun in a cool, dry place. Check the battery's voltage each month during storage and recharge it as needed. That's one of the first official recommendations. This isn't optional. A dead battery left in a cold garage can freeze and crack, or it can sulfate, permanently reducing its capacity. Can-Am's official guide is just as direct. Cold weather can drain the power from your vehicle's battery, especially if it's left connected and inactive. To prevent your battery from dying, disconnect and remove the SXS or ATV battery from your vehicle. They recommend using a battery tender or trickle charger. To keep the battery at full charge, use a battery tender or trickle charger. This will ensure your battery is ready to go when you need it again. And what about rust prevention? Clean your machine thoroughly before storage. Outdoor elements left on the vehicle can contribute to rust and corrosion, which can lead to long-term damage. That includes a pressure washer, but you have to be careful. Polaris warns, do not aim the nozzle at sensitive components. The water may damage components and could remove paint and labels. After washing, dry the vehicle completely. Then apply a rust prevention spray to all metal parts. And grease all fittings. Grease all Zerk fittings immediately after washing. And here's the killer detail that most owners miss. Starting the engine during the storage period will disturb the protective film created by fogging and damage could occur. Never start the engine during the storage period. The engine fogging process is described in detail. Remove the spark plugs and add 2 to 3 tablespoons of engine oil. Turn the engine over several times. Oil will be forced in and around the piston rings and ringlands, coating the cylinder with a protective film of fresh oil. This protective film prevents rust from forming on cylinder walls during the months of inactivity. It's a 20-minute job that can save your engine from corrosion. Now pause again. How many of you follow the storage guidelines? Be honest. Comment below. Killer 4, neglected maintenance. The fourth killer is the most insidious. Neglected maintenance. Not the big things you remember, the small things you forget. Air filters, spark plugs, coolant flushes, valve adjustments, grease fittings. Each one is a small job. Each one takes 10 minutes, and each one, if ignored, can total your engine. Start with the air filter. A dirty air filter is like riding with a sock in your intake. It restricts airflow. It leans out the fuel mixture. It makes your engine run hotter. and it lets dirt into your combustion chamber where it scores cylinder walls and wears out rings. The official Polaris guide lists clogged air filter as a primary cause of engine stops or loses power, and engine turns over, fails to start. On a Kawasaki brute force, dirty air filter and bad fuel are listed as common causes of rough running and power loss. One owner of a 400EX described classic valve seal failure. When my 400EX sits for a while and I go to start it, it will smoke, then stop, and it burns oil. The expert diagnosis? It sounds to me like either your valve guides or your valve seals are starting to fail or have already failed. This is a clear sign that the machine has been run with insufficient oil or worn components. The time to catch it is before the smoke, not after. Regular maintenance, including checking the valve clearances and inspecting seals and gaskets, is how you head off this problem. And then there's the simple stuff. Change the oil and filter before storage, the official guides insist. Grease all moving parts. Check coolant levels. Inspect cables and lubricate all areas of the vehicle. When a rider complained about an overheating Grizzly 700, the first thing an expert asked was, "Have you ever replaced it and flushed it out? And if so, did you just do it with water? Or did you actually go back with the coolant that's supposed to go in there?" Why does this matter? The Grizzly's engine is pretty finicky about what type of coolant you go back with. I wouldn't recommend picking up the green stuff that you find at a local auto parts store. Typically, they want that nice Yamaha Cool Blue coolant. These are not optional. These are the difference between a 5,000-mile machine and a 15,000-mile machine. The real cost of these killers. Let me add up what these killers cost you. Fuel system repair, $300 to $800 for carburetor rebuild or fuel injector replacement. Heat damage, $1,000 to $2,500 for head gasket or cylinder head repair. Storage neglect, $200 for battery replacement, $500 for fuel system flush, $200 for rust damage. Neglected maintenance, $1,500 to $3,500 for engine rebuild. The total cost of these 4 killers can easily exceed $5,000 over the life of your machine. That's not maintenance. That's a second purchase. How do you stop them? Do the small jobs. The fuel stabilizer costs $10. The radiator cleaning takes an hour. The proper storage takes an afternoon. The greasing takes 10 minutes. 10 minutes per ride, a few hours per year. That's the difference between a machine that lasts 5 years and a machine that lasts 15. The bottom line: the manufacturers don't want you to know these killers. They want you to neglect your machine. They want you to bring it to the dealer for expensive repairs. They want you to buy a new one when the old one dies. The dealer won't remind you to use fuel stabilizer. The manufacturer won't warn you about heat soak. The owner's manual buries the storage guidelines in the back. The forums are your best source for real-world maintenance tips. These 4 killers are real. They're documented, they're preventable, and now you know exactly how to stop them. Use fuel stabilizer. Keep your coolant fresh. Store your machine properly. Grease everything that moves. Your ATV will thank you. Your wallet will thank you. And you'll be riding long after the neglectful owners have given up. Your turn. Now I want to hear from you. What killed your last ATV? What did you learn? What's the most expensive repair you've had to make because of neglect? Share your stories in the comments. Help other riders avoid the same mistakes. Next week, I'm making a video about how to inspect a used ATV before you buy. The specific things to look for that tell you if the previous owner took care of the machine or let the killers do their work. Hit like if you want to see it. Until then, keep the rubber side down and the maintenance schedule up. The 4 killers are out there. Now you know what they are. Don't let them take your machine.